Good morning, this is Nicholas from Ganor Gaming, and it looks like we got some brand new FurHire support revealed and the brand new BPRO set. So Burst Protocol is looking to be a huge set for a lot of existing archetypes besides Dragon Link. If you don't know, FurHire is an archetype that hasn't been relevant in about a couple years. Their last relevance was actually with Sprite and Runic. It was Runic FurHire Sprite. And it was actually a really powerful deck. I actually don't know why it fell off. I think it's just inconsistencies. I feel like just power creep with the FurHire cards kind of just pushed the deck aside. However, we got 5 brand new cards revealed, and hopefully they're enough to push FurHire back into the format. So let's talk about it. First things first, we have Rex Gale FurHire. It's a level 5 wind dinosaur effect monster. It looks like Rex is riding the dinosaur from the newest support from a couple years ago. It's a level 5 wind dinosaur, 2,000 attack, 1,200 defense. You can only use the first effect of this card then once a turn. Reveal this card in your hand. Spell summon one FurHire monster from your hand, except Rex. Then spell summon this card. So that's already insane. This card does spell summon itself and any FurHire from hand for free, which is actually kind of insane. So this can actually get your bigger FurHires out of your hand, including your really powerful ones. If you don't know, the FurHires are every kind of type archetype. There's beasts, there's dinosaurs, there's beast warriors. It's a whole bunch of mishmash of animals, and basically their best ones are like higher level monsters. So the fact that this card could just reveal itself in hand, specify itself, and then any FurHire from hand is actually pretty insane. Then this card says, if this card is added from deck to your opponent's hand, give me one moment. I don't know why you'd want to renew. I don't know why you would want to add this card to your. Oh wait, if cards is added to deck to your opponent's hand by a non-FurHire card's effect, and you control another monster, draw one card. So I don't know what that's relating to. If cards is added to your deck to your opponent's hand by a non-FurHire card's effect, okay, so I guess this card's basically saying, hey, if your opponent adds cards from deck to hand, draw one, which is not bad. I don't know why it's phrased like that. It's like, it almost made me feel like it's saying if your opponent adds a card from deck to hand based on you, you get to draw a card. But no, it's saying if your opponent just adds a card from deck to hand using a non-FurHire card effect, draw a card. That was a really weird way to say just draw one, but not bad. Next, we have a new Link 2. This is Keel, Shipwright of the FurHires. Link 2, Water, Sea Serpent Effect Monster. 1,800 attack. Arrows are pointing to the bottom and also to the left. You can only use the first and second effect of this card once per turn. If this card is Link Summon, set 1, Spell Trap FurHire, and or Fantastic Flora, the Flying Fortress. From your deck, also you can't spell summon for the rest of the turn except FurHire. So this card does lock you into FurHires, which kind of sucks, especially since the deck's most playable when it was being splashed with non-FurHire cards, like Sprite and like Runic. But that is still a pretty powerful link too. It does say to the rest of the turn, so maybe you can do your whole Sprite combo, and you can do your whole Runic combo before you make this guy. This is during your opponent's turn, once a turn, you can banish this card from your graveyard. If you do, spell summon one FurHire monster from your hand. Then if your opponent controls a monster with the highest attack on the field, even if tied, you can spell summon a second such monster. So that's a very powerful effect. Like I said, the whole idea of the FurHires is that they kind of just add themselves back to hand, and then you can just summon them. And this Link 2 seems to be a huge addition to the deck. Flying Flora, I'm guessing that's the new field spell, so let's read this. We have a new field spell. This is Flora, the Fearsome Flying Fortress. Field spell, this card is always treated as a FurHire. You don't use a second turn effect this card they want to turn. Monsters of FurHire you control gain 300 attack for each FurHire monster you control with different names. During the main phase, you can add one FurHire monster from deck to hand, then discard one card. If a face-up monster's FurHire you control is destroyed by opponent's card effect, spell someone FurHire from the deck. That's a very powerful field spell, and that's something we desperately need because we already own a field spell, but that previous field spell sucked, so this is already way better. Next, we have Storm FurHire. It's a quick play spell. You can only use the first and second of this card they once a turn. If you control no monsters, special one level 4 or lower monster FurHire from your deck. Then, if your opponent controls 2 or more monsters, special one monster FurHire from your deck. Also, you can't special the rest of the turn except FurHires. If a monster FurHire is discarded, a card to activate its effect, banish this card from your graveyard instead of discarding those cards. So that's already an insane effect. This card literally says, hey, if you control the monsters, telly a level 4 or lower FurHire from the deck. And it also says if your opponent controls 2 or more monsters, spell summon FurHire from deck. Also, you can't spell summon rest of the turn except FurHires. So it's a double telly if your opponent already controls 2 or more monsters. That is a very powerful effect. And the other thing about this card is that it's searchable. It's Storm FurHire, so it's an easy, quick play spell that you can get searched with the deck. And then finally, the secret technique of the FurHire to normal trap card. They'll use the first and second of this card they want to turn. Target face-up monsters on the field up to the number of FurHires you control different names. Destroy them. Or if you control a level 8 or higher link or a link 3 monster, banish them. So if you don't know, FurHires do have a link 3. They also have, I think they have a link 1 too, and now they have a link 2. So it's kind of connected all together. Oh, they already had a link 2. That's right. I think Dapper was a link 2. So this is actually just an insane effect. Basically allow you to banish their field by controlling the link 3, which I think draws you cards, which is pretty insane. And then it says, if a level 8 or higher or link 3 or higher monster FurHire is spell summoned to your field, all those cards in your graveyard added to hand. So that's also insane because it doesn't banish itself again. Because it's adding itself in a hand, you just get to reuse it over and over and over again and just keep banishing your opponent's stuff. I'm not going to lie, this support is actually kind of insane. I don't know if it's enough to make the meta again. This stuff is actually like insane support. Like all 5 cards are just incredible. The deck desperately needed all 5. I still don't know if it's good enough on its own though, because some of the new cards lock you into FurHires now, which was never an issue with the old support. So I don't know if it's still splashable with Sprite and with Runic, which was, like I said, the most competitive version of the deck. But I don't know. These cards feel amazing, and they might actually make pure FurHire insane again. So we'll just have to see. There's a FurHire, like I said, it's a very powerful archetype. I think Dumpus their boss monster. I don't know. There's a lot of really powerful cards in FurHire. So honestly, this is just a great wave of support. I wish some of my favorite archetypes got this good a level of support. But yeah, this is amazing stuff. We'll just have to see where it goes from here. Like and subscribe. See y'all on the next one, and bye-bye.